Do you have trouble with your child's morning routine? You know, for some kids this might look like that they just never get going, it's really hard to get them out of bed, they're not doing the different steps in the morning that they need to do, they might always be running late, they might end up being late to school or to the activity that they're going to, or maybe they get up on time and they leave on time, but in between there's a lot of stress and conflict, you know, arguing, reminding, nagging, however you want to put it, trying to get your child to go through the different steps of the morning routine and perhaps even be able to leave the house with a somewhat organized room before they've left. So these things can cause a lot of stress in the mornings, and so I want to give some suggestions for how to set up a good morning routine. One of the main ways to do it is to decide what the parts of the morning routine are. So sort of analyze what it is that's going on and the steps the child should take, and then write them down in some sort of a morning schedule. So it might be something like to get up at 6:30, and then maybe they get out of bed and you have to decide what the next step is. So some kids might shower or bathe in the morning, others might have done that the night before. So they might be first getting dressed, or maybe they're first eating some breakfast. And so you're deciding with your child and with maybe the other members of your family, depending on how all the different parts of the morning routine interact, what the best schedule is. For some kids it helps to set it up by time, others it's just by order of events. You know, what is it you're going to do first, what are you going to do second, what are you going to do third, and then you might also build in something towards the end, so for instance that would reward them for staying on task. So for instance, if they get done by 7:30 and they don't need to leave until 7:45, maybe they get to watch TV for those 15 minutes, or maybe they get to play with Legos, or they just get to relax during that time as an incentive for getting done more quickly. So you set up the different steps of the routine, and then you need to figure out how the child will access that. So it might be that they make up a big poster and they hang it on their bedroom wall, or maybe you've put it on the computer and just printed out a sheet which you hand to them. Some kids like to actually have a sheet, say on a clipboard or something, that they carry around with them and check it off. Other kids would lose it, you know, they can't keep track of it from one place in the house to the other, so maybe they have to have 2 or 3 copies of it put up in different important places in the house. So maybe they need a copy in their bedroom, a copy in the bathroom, and a copy on the kitchen table for them. So it just depends on how hard it is for your child to keep track of the different steps. And one of the big parts of all this is you want to try to reduce your own reminding, or what the child might describe as nagging. So for instance, you just keep redirecting the child's attention to the schedule. So for instance, if they need to complete making their bed and then they're supposed to come to breakfast, you might just ask, where are you at on the schedule? Or you might point to the schedule. Or you might take the piece of paper, if that's what it's on, and hand it to them as a reminder to check in. So you want to reduce how many things you're having to say. And that's usually something the child experiences in a positive way, because they don't like to be reminded 20 million times of the things they need to do. And you'll experience it in a positive way, because most parents don't want to have to be in that role, and they want their child to be more independent with their morning routine. But circumstances have developed, or maybe just the way the child is wired, it might just be hard for them to maintain that schedule. And for some kids, if they're not reading yet, it might be that the schedule is in pictures. So you can use actual pictures of the child successfully doing the steps of it, the morning schedule, and make that for them. Or you could use clip art or some kind of little drawing to indicate the steps in the routines, which might be things like eating breakfast or brushing your teeth. Then I think another important part is maybe to decide with your child what parts of the routine they should do the night before. This is especially important in households where it's a rush in the morning. So if you have kids getting ready to go to school and parents getting ready to go to work, and there's just a lot of different things that have to happen, it can be helpful to decide which things are going to be done the night before. Like maybe a lunch is going to get packed the night before, or maybe clothes are going to get picked up the night before. Or maybe when the laundry is done and the clothes are being put away, the clothes are being put to get grouped together in outfits, so the child can just pick out one whole outfit and it's all just been already pre-packaged, sort of on a hanger or even in a plastic bag or something like that, to make it easy for that part of the morning routine to go well. Or when they did their homework the day before, maybe their homework is all being put into their backpack along with maybe permission slips or anything else they need and put by the door, so that in the morning routine we aren't tracking down homework and permission slips and other pieces of paper that need to go back to school that day. So that could be part of working out a good morning routine, is just deciding what things really should be part of the evening routine, which I'm going to talk about in another video, and which things should be part of the morning routine. A good way to motivate the child to stay on the morning routine is to set it up in some way with a reward system with it. So it might be that as they check off parts of their morning routine, each piece of their routine might be worth something in their incentive plan. Maybe they earn a little bit of game time that they can utilize when they get home from school. Maybe they're earning a little bit of money towards their allowance. Maybe they're earning some time with mom or dad in the afternoon or after school for having completed each step of it. Now, and I like to do it by each step rather than all or nothing, because let's say a child does 5 of their 6 steps of their morning routine and they do it better than usual, but one they don't do too well. We still want them to stay motivated and stay involved, so we want them to get a partial reward for a partial success, so that it's not all or nothing. Maybe if you are using a reward system, you might give a little bonus if they do get it all, but not have it be a reward system where they don't get anything unless they've done everything. I just don't think that helps motivate good behavior. And then you also just might want to analyze, make sure there's time involved for all of that. I often find that if kids have special needs of any kind, that a lot of times the parent actually really needs to be pretty much fully ready to go in the morning before they even get their kids up. Now that can be a sacrifice, you know, for a lot of families, but if the parents are trying to get themselves ready and trying to get the kids ready, especially if it's a child with any kind of special needs, there really can just sometimes be not enough time and attention to go around. So you have to kind of look at the needs of your family and your children and see whether you really need to have gotten all of your tasks done before you even get them up and get them going on their tasks. So it's going to depend on how much structure and support they need from you. And you can also look at giving them more guidance at first at staying on their routine and less as time goes on. So if the longer they've been doing it, the more successful they have been at doing it, then you don't have to do as much help and support. I also suggest that, you know, as part of the routine of getting them out of bed, that you add into your evening routine helping them set an alarm. This is maybe for kids age 6 to 8 and up. And even if they're not using the alarm fully, let's say you still have to be there as a backup to make sure that they're actually waking up, I just think it's a good habit to be getting into. And one of the things that I often tell kids is that if you yell at the alarm clock because it's waking you up and you really don't feel like hearing it, no one's feelings have gotten hurt. So that works out a lot better than yelling at your parent for getting you up. And you might have to do a little work to find an alarm clock that actually wakes up your child. That can be tricky. It's because of some kids are just really deep sleepers, but there's a lot of different clocks out there that you can try. Some that are really loud. You can even get ones for people that are deaf that you put something under the mattress and it actually vibrates the bed. You can get ones that roll off the table once they go off, and you have to like actually get out of bed and chase it around the room in order to make it stop ringing. So there's a lot of different strategies you can use, and that can help reduce some of the morning conflict. Even if you're still having to be a backup, even for some years, it's helping to promote some independence with morning routine. So my name is Barbara Lester. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I've been working with children and teens for about 30 years. And if you're interested in this kind of information, please subscribe to my channel. And thanks for stopping by.